One champion changed League of Legends forever. His release marked a new age for the game with his near-limitless skill ceiling. He was a champion designed for mechanical excellence.
Oh, he goes back in. The healing's going to be there. Will he actually be able to rock this out? The double kill.
But Riot did their job too well. He was too popular, and for many, he ruined everything.
I hate this f***ing champion that is not balanced!
Blamed for a crime he didn't commit. Blamed for players he didn't ask for. Hated by everyone.
Can he get it done? He can't, the Vladimir! They can't do it! This is it! The greatest team in the history of League of Legends, taken down by the greatest team Europe has ever produced!
Once, Yasuo was among the most hated champions in the game, and even over a decade past his release, he's still finding ways to torment players.
Yasuo.
Before we get into the video, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Omen, who are our portal to possibility for sending us to amazing esports events all over the world. We'll be right there at the center of all the action, sharing the best esports has to offer with all of you. Unleash your ultimate gaming potential with the Omen Max 16 laptop. Crafted for powerful performance, the Omen Max 16 is equipped with up to an Intel Core Ultra 9 processor, offering gamers desktop-level performance anywhere, encased in a light, portable body they can take on the go. Then there's also a groundbreaking new self-cleaning fan technology called Fan Cleaner. Powered by Intel, this built-in feature periodically reverses the fan's direction to prevent dust buildup for absolutely peak reliable performance. And for the first time ever, Omen gives players the ability to manually overclock their laptop CPU and GPU for max performance, up to 250 watts total processing power without having to go into the BIOS. Thanks again to Omen for helping players navigate through any gaming obstacle to reach new levels with the Omen Max 16, now available at omen.com. And now, let's get back to our story.
With Yasuo, Riot wanted to make a character for the best of the best to show off their skills. Instead, they created a cult of players obsessed with him and changed their game forever. But to understand how Yasuo got so popular, we have to understand where he came from. Yasuo is an agile Ionian swordsman who shapes the wind around him to help in battle. As a child, he was a bit of a hothead, trying to follow in the footsteps of his older half-brother Yone. But once Yasuo earned a spot in his village's sword school, he was given a task that didn't exactly interest him.
Your place is here, with Elder Suma.
He trained me for this. I can help end this war.
Your duty is to this school, to your master, to Ionia.
Then I should be out there protecting her. I won't fail you, Yone.
It seems I have already failed you.
Following the Noxian invasion of Ionia, Elder Soma was slain, and Yasuo, his protector, was falsely accused of murdering his master. We would later find out in the short story Confessions of a Broken Blade by Ariel Lawrence that Riven was responsible for the murder. But the damage had already been done. Yasuo was blamed and confronted by Yone.
Answer for what you have done.
Yone, turn back.
You have dishonored us. You swore to protect him!
You swore to protect Ionia. Look around you, brother. Your honor stains the ground.
Better than living without it.
The two brothers battled until only Yasuo was left standing, and this altercation would haunt him for the rest of his life. Yasuo bears the blame for a crime he didn't commit, both from his fellow Ionians and from League players themselves. Yasuo was unable to forgive himself for killing Yone, and chose to wander his homeland, allowing the wind to guide his blade. No matter his age, he never forgot the techniques that his master taught him. and it's those techniques that shape Yasuo's abilities within the game. Yasuo's passive, Way of the Wanderer, has two separate benefits. The first, Intent, doubles his critical strike chance, so if you build 50% crit, then his attacks will always critically strike. The second part of his passive is Resolve. When moving around, Yasuo's flow bar increases, and once filled, it generates a brief shield when he's attacked by enemies or monsters. His E, Sweeping Blade, allows him to dash towards an enemy or monster, damaging and marking them. Once the mark disappears, he can dash to them again. Casting Sweeping Blade again and again allows Yasuo to do increasingly more damage, as long as you dash to a new enemy every time. But it can also be used as an escape to disengage from enemies.
We can't leave Joe hanging again. We gotta work out this triple man cast here. Oh, Pride's is dead.
Yasuo's Q, Steel Tempest, attacks all enemies and monsters in a line. Steel Tempest functions as a basic attack, allowing it to crit and apply on-hit effects to the closest enemy it hits. After 2 successful Qs, a third Steel Tempest sends out a whirlwind that damages and knocks up all enemies within its path.
The objective, you cannot really go in there with our pick. We keep talking about it. Wow, that's a lot of damage.
A lot of damage, a lot of stick potential as well. Flash coming in. Actually, the stick potential comes out because Pawn can hit the Qs over and over again, keeping himself in range, knowing his abilities.
But arguably the most infuriating part about Yasuo's kit is Wind Wall. While the active sends out a wall in a target direction that blocks all enemy projectiles. This includes ranged auto attacks, skill shots, and targeted abilities. The only thing that it doesn't block is turret shots, but considering just how powerful Wind Wall can be, that seems like a pretty fair trade-off. Finally, we have Yasuo's ultimate, Last Breath. It can only be used on airborne targets, but when activated, it teleports Yasuo to his target, briefly suspending them in mid-air while dealing melee damage. Upon landing, Yasuo gains a significant armor penetration buff, allowing him to shred through tanky enemies.
TSM had a monstrous advantage, there was no escape, and SK just makes matters worse.
Wow! Gilius going down, Justin's in the wrong place at the wrong time, and the cow comes in to give him the what for.
When Yasuo came out in December 2013 with all of these abilities, he looked terrifying. He was unlike any champion before him and immediately broke the game.
Holy shit.
Yasuo's ability to weave in and out of minion waves made it extremely difficult to actually lock him down and kill him, especially in an era with far fewer highly mobile champions. Playing against him was at times infuriating. His mobility was a complete sea change for League, but what we didn't know was that Yasuo heralded the beginning of an era of mobility creep. His resetting dashes made everyone want to lock him in, and almost immediately players came up with strategies that had the potential to win lane from level 1.
So right now you see me doing it on Ahri, and what you want to do is you want to build up some stacks of your E. Now I do this in somewhat of a specific way. I usually begin to use 2 E's on 2 melee minions. Then I use 1 on the range, I auto attack the enemy champion, use another E with a fully stacked E to do more damage to gap close once again, making sure I don't go under tower, auto attack for some more harass, and then retreat with an E on a ranged minion I have not yet used it on. So this strat can either work really well and give you a huge lead, or you can mess up, fail, and then probably fall behind.
Yasuo was initially so powerful that he took over the game in the weeks after his release, and his high skill ceiling meant that some of the best players in the world simply couldn't resist picking him in pro play.
미드에서도 탈진! 잠깐만 교전! 이거 야수가
피했어요!
It's very hard for them. What they really need now are Death Sentence and Cocoons to land on people who are out of position. Here we go though, 2 versus 1 up top on Bjergsen, squishy target. They might be able to capitalize.
Oh, he goes back in! Oh my gosh!
Yeah, he goes back in. The healing's gonna be there. Will he actually be able to rock this out? The double kill. This shouldn't kill him, and he makes it out alive.
They
may have just given up their base. Vasily goes down in the end. A huge last breath coming in from Xiao. Can he get the crits on the Infinity Edge? One going in. That's a double kill coming in from him. It's a pentakill in his eyes. He looks for the hit. He goes to Lust Boy. That's the triple. He's going to get the quadra. The last hit. He goes for Bjergsen. Bjergsen gets the scat of the week. He's going to be within range. He gets the speed up from the bubble. Pentakill for Xiao.
In the right hands, it was clear that Yasuo could be a very strong pick in mid, even flexing top in the right matchups. And years later, Perks even made him look overpowered in the bot lane.
But the ulti comes out in such a close exchange. For now, they're winning, but Perks is coming in. This is his hero moment. If he wants to turn this fight in favor of team, this could be the game.
He gets the
fighting moment. Faker is gone. Teddy's next on the list. There's no way he can duel Yasuo. Amada's coming in, but he's just walking into the meat grinder of Perks. Con, can he do it? It's not enough. They've done it. G2. Con, can he get it done? He can't. The Vladimir. They can't do it. This is it. The greatest team in the history of League of Legends, taken down by the greatest team Europe has ever produced.
But in those early years, regardless of the hype moments that the best Yasuo players were pulling off on the big stage, the average League of Legends player began to resent him. Although the champion was fun to play, his high skill ceiling meant he wasn't for everyone. Over time, it became a meme that when you have a Yasuo on your team, chances are they would feed. And this is partially due to the way his E works. If a player overextends and doesn't have something to dash back to, then they'll likely get caught out and die. Skilled Yasuo players understand that his E isn't only used for offense. It's important to plan your path in and out of a trade or skirmish, especially in certain laning matchups. But unfortunately, not everyone can grasp that. Many Yasuo players just kept Eing in and dying. And that's the type of Yasuo player you'll often see when they're on your team. But of course, when they're on the enemy team, they're somehow an unkillable god who will single-handedly carry the game.
Yes, bro, like, you're telling me it's a platinum Yasuo? Like, casually E's over the wall, then does the E back over? Yeah, get the f*** out of here.
And if that wasn't frustrating enough, there's also his 0-10 power spike. Players have long joked that even if a Yasuo is getting dominated in lane, once he hits 0-10, he'll likely still have enough gold to hit his 2 or 3 item power spike after buying extra crit chance. And back in the day, players could just rush Static Shiv and Berserker's Greaves for some easy early damage. But even if Yasuo spent a good chunk of the game feeding, there's a good chance that he can start finishing some of his core items and start doing damage, because his passive allows him to hit crit breakpoints far faster than other champions. Being a Yasuo main is seen as a pretty toxic trait. The League community has determined that if you lock in Yasuo, there's a pretty good chance you have a bit of an ego and you just want to show off. It's something that Riot has even acknowledged in some of their other titles, like TFT, where Yasuo will throw up a mastery icon after winning a round where he was the only one left standing on his team. But if things are going south on Summoner's Rift, you likely won't see a Yasuo player accepting the blame. Regardless of what team he's on, Yasuo is capable of tormenting just about everyone.
I hate this f***ing champion that is not balanced! Holy f***, Riot! I cannot! Man, holy shit! So stupid!
Yasuo can be extremely frustrating to play against, but once again, the champion is taking the blame for something that just isn't his fault, at least not anymore. Especially in 2025, Yasuo isn't inherently broken. The true problem is that most players simply haven't put the time in to master his kit, and some players on the opposing side of the Rift don't understand how to counter him. He's a champion that players love to hate, but also hate to love, because he's actually fun to play if you're willing to take the abuse you'll face by simply locking him in. But many players decided to avoid the issue altogether, and throughout most of 2019, Yasuo was the most banned champion in the game before being overtaken by Pyke. These days, Yasuo is by no means broken, but he was probably at his strongest, especially at a high level in 2019. Over time, Riot targeted Yasuo with nerfs to his base HP, removing the passive on his win wall and indirectly nerfing him by worsening the effects of some crit items. But even after over a decade of listening to players complain about Yasuo, Riot never really saw him as OP. Instead, they believe that some members of the community just don't understand how to properly play against him, especially in lower elo. Over time, Riot has released many champions with even more mobility, and at times even higher skill ceilings. Even Yasuo's brother, Yone, feels like a newer, better version of the iconic Ionian swordsman. He's now carrying the family torch in ranked and pro play, but Riot's intention is never to create more broken versions of existing champions. They want the journey of mastering these characters to feel satisfying without making your opponents feel helpless.
There's a lot of trade-offs that complex champions need to pay to beat the simple champions. Granted, we don't often tune simple champions to be so powerful, you know, that they would just like spin on Ambessa and kill her in one hit. At the end of the day, I think it's just a balance between trying to make sure that the complex champion needs to use enough of their kit that the person playing the simple champion feels like it was earned or deserved.
But the release of Yasuo in 2013 truly marked the beginning of a new age in League of Legends. He was part of a new wave of playmaking, high-agency champions that rewarded mechanical mastery and left those playing them with a sense of fulfillment. Nowadays, it feels like so many champions need some sort of added mobility or dashes in order to be picked in ranked and pro play. But regardless of where Yasuo sits within any given meta, his profound impact on the game and its community is undeniable. He's remained one of the faces of the game despite no longer being present in pro play. Whether you love playing him or hate playing against him, Yasuo changed the way we see the game forever.
Thanks for watching. If you want more content like this, hit the sub button and ring the notification bell. For unique bite-sized videos you won't find anywhere else, hit us up on our X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.